Hey Archery Talk, this is Lucas. I just got a package delivered to me from B3 Archery. I've been waiting for this for quite some time. I believe it got caught up in shipping and it got stuck at my office, which I haven't been able to get into since this whole COVID-19 craziness happened. Well, I've got it now. Let's open it up and see exactly what it is. I've got some idea, but I'm not entirely sure what they've sent. I know what I'm hoping they sent. Let's open it up and have a look inside. New pocket knife for those interested. Put that away. Get rid of the fluff. Ooh, we got a B3 owner's manual. Put that there for a second. Oh, and look at here. Put the box down. I believe we've got ourselves a new sight. I am so stoked about this. I saw this at the ATA show. And I'm not entirely sure which one they've sent. They've got a few different models. I think it's going to be a Target sight, I think. Let's have a look inside. Oh, they are. They've also thrown in their new Ghost release date. I'm going to dig into that in a second. Let's have a look. Yeah, it is their exact 3D Target sight. So I'm going to change the camera angle and kind of show it to you from my perspective. And let's kind of go over the details and see everything that this sight can do. All right, let's take a deep dive into the B3 Archery Exact 3D sight. Just straight out of the box, the retail price on this, I believe, is about $340. You can check with your local dealer. They may have different prices than that. And this is basically designed to be a high-end target sight. They have several different versions of this. This is the 3D sight. It's got a bit of a shorter block vertically. And it's got a shorter dovetail, I would think. There's a straight target sight. It's got a longer dovetail mount. And I suspect there'll be some other minor differences between them. I think there's a hunter version as well, which you can get with a multi-pin scope. Anyway, let's look at some of the quick features on this sight before we get any farther. First thing with the dovetail mount, there are 6 different settings you can choose on this thing. So you loosen the wheel a little bit here and move the settings, and there's a detent ball on the top here, and so it gives you a little positive click in each of the 6 spots, so you always know if you're in the right spot. Very cool. And just lock it down when you're done. So anyway, lets you get your scope and your peep housing kind of lined up exactly how you'd like it to be. As you might expect, this sight has first, second, and third axis adjustability, which again, you would expect that of any high-end target sight. To adjust that first axis to kind of the part where you can kind of level it with your bow is real simple. You just lightly loosen that top and bottom nut where the windage bar connects to the actual sight, and then in here, like you'll see, you can have a little bit of left to right movement. It's not a lot, but just enough so you can kind of get that lined up perfectly. So I'm going to kind of keep it just straight for now, and we'll move on to the second axis. And the second axis is up at the front, and it's basically the same thing. You just unscrew this top one just ever so lightly, and then the bottom one I'll give it a little bit more, and then the same thing is going to happen here. You're going to have adjustability that way. So where the first axis will kind of help the whole sight left to right. This one is going to help keep your level of your scope up. Same idea. So I'm going to tighten those back down real quick. And I'll get back to that in a second. The third axis adjustability is a little bit different, and that's basically it's going to swing your sight like this way, swing it left to right. I don't know how you could see that in the picture, but that's the idea. And to do that, you've just got to loosen these 2 guys here. A quick little loosen. And then you flip it around. And at the back here, there's a little set screw. And all you got to do is kind of is loosen it or tighten it, and that will move that ever so slightly. It's really hard to pick up on camera, but basically you'll just kind of increase the gap in this part of the sight right there. Real simple, but again, simple adjustability is what you want in these sights. And that's it for the first, second, and third axis adjustability. So another interesting feature on these exact sights is they come with these laser engraved sight marks. So I've got number 7 on here. You'd flip it over and you get number 8. And it comes, I think this one came with 5 different ones. So it gives me, I think, 1 through 10. Kind of spread them out there a little bit so you can see them. And basically it means no more sight tapes. So he has 1 and 2 and so on and so on. And that's a handy thing, so you don't have to kind of constantly use those peel and stick sight tapes. The only worry I have with this is that there's only 10 of these, so I'm hoping they're going to be, somewhere in the speeds that most people are shooting their target bows. Because I find with when I get a package of sight tapes of like 40 sight tapes from somebody, I might be able to use like 6 or 7 of them across all of my bows. I'm hoping these are going to be somewhere in that middle range. Otherwise, it's going to be a little difficult to use these, but we'll play that by ear, and I'll kind of let you know how that works out in my long-term review in the coming months. And speaking of the sight tapes, you've got this needle right here, and that'll here I'll kind of show you a quick. You can kind of see how that moves along the sight tapes there. And what's cool about the sight mark, one is a nice big bright pin, which I like a lot. But oops, I'm gonna get a different size screw. And if you loosen this guy here, there you go. You can move your pin a fair bit. So on this particular tape, it moves about 15 yards worth. And you've also got 3 different positions you can put that in. So you're really going to have more like probably 30, 40 yards worth of movement. You look in the back, you can also do the same thing on the back side of the sight if you'd prefer. So right now that pin's in the middle position, but you can move it up here or there, and so you can get really quite a bit of movement out of your pin. And speaking of that, here, I'm going to tighten that down real quick so before we forget. Vertical adjustability on this sight, very cool as well. So this is your vertical adjustment lock knob. First thing you do is you just kind of give that a little loosen, and then you can just kind of start cranking on this sight. Now I think the 3D model moves more vertically quickly than the straight target model, is my guess. So it's not. I think precision-wise, I think maybe some other ones will have a slightly smaller spaces between clicks, but this is for 3D archery. I think is going to be a really nice feature, and you can move up and down pretty quickly, which is nice. And you're going to lock that down right before you shoot. And now you can still turn it when it's like that. I just don't think it's a great idea. As for the windage, same thing. There's your lock screw right there, and then once you've got that unlocked, you can go ahead and turn this dial. And this is very precise. These are less than 1/1000th of an inch per click. So you can make very small left to right windage adjustments. It takes a little while to get this thing moving. But you've got quite a bit of space. And apparently they make different sized scope bars. So you can, if you need a little bit more windage adjustability or even an offset mount, I believe they can give you one of those as well. So pretty cool features, again, from B3 with the exact sight. Speaking of the scope, this is the scope rod. This is a little bit different than some other sights I've used. I have a much longer scope rod. I've shot a bunch of Sherlock sights in the past, and used a much longer scope rod like that. I'm guessing this is my first time doing this. I'm going to run this inside of my Specialty Archery 3D scope, and then I'll attach it right into the scope mount. So I'm going to I'll put that in right now so you don't have to watch it on video, and we'll get back to you in just a second. All right, I have got my Specialty Archery VersaScope mounted on my B3 Archery Exact 3D. I'm hoping to get to the range as soon as tonight to see if we can't run this through its paces a little bit and see how I'm liking the new sight. Should be pointed out that everything on here is metal construction, all machined aluminum construction. There's no plastic. There's like a Teflon in the glider in there, it looks like. But this should be a rock solid design. And I'm really looking forward to playing with it. I love target sights. I love 3D sights. I just think they're probably the coolest accessory is in archery. So I'm going to play around with this, and hopefully those metal sight tapes will work for my bow weight and bow speed. If not, they did include some regular peel and stick variety as well. So we'll play with that soon. ArcheryTalk, thank you so much for watching. Check out b3archery.com for more information. Please like, share, and subscribe. It helps the channel an awful lot, and we will see you again soon.